The journey of the chosen one is something that most of the time is far from the eyes of the public. Many only see the final result, the great mission accomplished, but few know the silent and painful process that happens before the great achievement. The chosen one, the person who seems destined for something grand, goes through a series of tests that shape their essence and inner strength. These tests are not easy, and often the chosen one faces pains that are invisible to the world around them. The mission of a chosen one requires not only strength, but deep personal sacrifices. What is often unseen are the moments of solitude, the fears faced in silence, and the obstacles that seem insurmountable. Each of these tests is a stage that forges the chosen one, making them ready for the great mission that, in the end, can transform not only their life, but also the lives of everyone around them. When looking at the journey of the chosen one, it becomes clear that their true strength does not lie in the absence of difficulties, but in how they handle them. With each challenge, with each pain faced alone, the chosen one grows and prepares for what is to come. It is not only their ability or destiny that makes them worthy of their mission, but the quiet and often invisible way in which they face the tests that shape them. Now let's explore the 9 tests that every chosen one faces before conquering their mission. The silent pain that accompanies this journey will be the focus, showing that greatness does not come without the sacrifice of an internal struggle that few understand. These tests are the pillars that sustain the chosen one on their path toward the destiny they were destined for. Be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. 1. The unexpected call. The first test for every chosen one is the call, which comes suddenly and often unexpectedly. The life of the chosen one follows a peaceful path until something happens that changes everything. This event could be a personal crisis, a revelation, or even an out-of-control situation. The call is not a choice, but something that chooses them. They are forced to confront a new purpose, something that will lead them to leave behind the life they knew. At the moment of the call, the chosen one feels the weight of what is about to happen, but does not yet fully understand what it implies. The initial reaction may be denial or fear, as changing direction is not easy. They don't know exactly what the impact will be, but they feel in their heart that they cannot ignore what is happening. The fear of the unknown is great, but the sense that there is no turning back pushes them forward. This first test is crucial because it marks the transition from everyday life to a journey full of uncertainties. The chosen one begins to realize that their life has a greater meaning, but they still don't have all the answers. They face a choice that they cannot delay: to move forward, accepting the call, or to remain in the security of the known without the promise of a transformative future. The call is the spark that ignites the flame of transformation. No matter how difficult this initial decision is, it is the gateway to what is to come. The chosen one needs to make this choice, even without knowing everything they will face in the future. The test of the call is, above all, a test of courage. The chosen one needs to take the first step into the unknown, knowing that their journey will take them far from comfort. 2. The discomfort of solitude. After the call, the chosen one faces the test of solitude. They may be surrounded by people, but the weight of the mission they carry makes them emotionally isolated. This period of solitude is one of the hardest, because while they move away from what is familiar, they find no one to share the burden of their journey. They often find themselves alone with their thoughts and fears. Solitude is not just the absence of physical company, but a deep separation from the understanding of others. The chosen one begins to realize that their mission is something they will have to carry alone. No one else can walk beside them in the same way. They feel disconnected from who they were before, but at the same time, they feel they cannot turn back. Solitude becomes a silent companion that challenges them to know themselves better and trust in their inner strength. In this test, the chosen one is also confronted with their insecurities. The absence of external support forces them to look inward and question their own abilities. They begin to wonder if they are up to the mission that has been entrusted to them. Solitude is a fertile ground for doubts and fears, but it is also an opportunity to learn how to strengthen themselves. This moment of solitude is essential because it is here that the chosen one begins to build their resilience. Solitude forces them to reconnect with their essence and understand that to move forward, they must trust themselves. There is no longer the security of constant support from others, and it is in this emptiness that they find the answers they need. Solitude, though painful, is a necessary phase for the chosen one to prepare for what is to come. 3. The confrontation with fear. When the chosen one faces their own fears, they are confronted with a deep internal battle. Fear is not just about the unknown, but about what they may lose along the way. They fear failing, being judged, or worse, never being able to fulfill the mission they were chosen for. Fear can be paralyzing, but it is also an opportunity for the chosen one to test their courage and determination. This test is not easy. Fear manifests in many forms, and often arises when they least expect it. Fear of not being good enough, not being prepared, or being rejected by those they love. The real struggle of the chosen one is against the fears that reside within them, the ones that prevent them from moving forward. Facing these fears is a painful process, but it is necessary for them to grow and evolve. The confrontation with fear is a test of emotional endurance. The chosen one needs to learn that fear, though real, cannot define their journey. They must be able to look fear in the eyes and decide to move forward despite it. Fear can be a warning, but it is not an impediment. By confronting their fears, the chosen one begins to grow stronger, more aware of their limitations, but also more capable of overcoming them. This test is important because it is here that the chosen one begins to understand that fear will never disappear completely, but they can learn to live with it. Fear becomes a silent ally, reminding them of their humanity, but not preventing them from continuing their mission. The journey requires the courage to move forward, even when fear is overwhelming. 4. Personal sacrifice. The chosen one soon faces the harsh reality of sacrifice. They must give up many things that were once fundamental to their life. It could be time with family, emotional stability, or even personal dreams that become unfeasible in light of the mission. This is a test that demands more than physical strength. It demands the courage to face profound losses. Sacrifice, though often invisible to others, is a silent pain that the chosen one carries alone. They must give up comfort and security to move forward. And this is not always easy. The people around them do not understand the weight of their choices, and often they find themselves isolated, with the mission being their only companion. Every sacrifice, no matter how small, weighs heavily on the chosen one. They realize that their journey will not be easy, and that they will have to make difficult choices along the way. The losses are many, but they are also transformative. By giving up what is familiar and comfortable, the chosen one draws closer to the purpose they were given. This test is essential because sacrifice teaches the chosen one about detachment and renunciation. They learn that to achieve something greater, they must let go of certain things. The pain of sacrifice is real, but it is also the key to true transformation. In the end, the chosen one understands that, although they have lost much, what they gain in wisdom and inner strength is worth more than anything they left behind. 5. The test of resilience. The test of resilience comes as a great challenge on the journey of the chosen one. With each step, they encounter difficulties and, on several occasions, face repeated failures. Each mistake made, each obstacle not overcome, may seem like a sign of defeat. However, it is in this moment of falling that the true character of the chosen one begins to form. Resilience is the ability to rise after being knocked down, and it becomes one of the most important qualities that the chosen one needs to develop. The chosen one then learns that failure does not mean the end of the journey, but an opportunity to grow. Each mistake brings with it a lesson, a chance for improvement. Initially, it may be difficult to deal with the pain of failure, especially when they feel discouraged. But over time, they begin to realize that mistakes are not obstacles, but stepping stones that push them forward. Each fall makes them wiser, more experienced, and more capable of handling the next challenges. This test is crucial for the development of character. When the chosen one fails, they are challenged to find a new way to move forward. They need to understand what went wrong, learn from it, and most importantly, keep going. They discover that true defeat is not in failing, but in giving up. The chosen one is not immune to error, but they learn to overcome it. Over time, they develop a stronger, more positive mindset that helps them move forward, even when the winds are against them. Resilience, then, is not about never falling, but about always getting back up. Every defeat, every mistake, is an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. The chosen one learns to deal with the pain of failure, turning it into fuel for their journey. Instead of allowing themselves to be consumed by discouragement, they use failure as a tool to improve. They begin to understand that every difficult moment is a vital part of their journey, and that by overcoming these difficulties, they are getting closer and closer to fulfilling their mission. This test also teaches the chosen one the importance of patience with themselves. They understand that the path will not be easy, and that victories will not come immediately. However, they learn that persistence is the key to overcoming difficulties. Resilience does not arise instantly, but is built over time, through constant practice and the ability to get up every time they fall. The chosen one begins to understand that the real test is not avoiding obstacles, but being able to move forward despite them. Every time they rise after a fall, their inner strength grows stronger. Resilience becomes, thus, the foundation upon which the chosen one builds their journey. They not only learn to cope with the highs and lows of life, but also to find meaning in difficulties. Every defeat prepares them for the next challenge and makes them more capable of fulfilling their mission. They realize that true victory is not in never failing, but in continuing, always with more strength, wisdom, and determination. In the end, they become an unbeatable person, not because they never fell, but because they always got up. Part 6. The betrayal of those they trust the most. The journey of the chosen one is filled with challenges, but none is as painful as the betrayal of those they trust the most. This is one of the most devastating tests of the journey, as it strikes at the deepest emotions and tests the trust the chosen one places in the people around them. Betrayal is a blow of disbelief and pain, often coming from someone they believed to be an ally, friend, or even mentor. This is a moment of great vulnerability, where the chosen one must face not only the act of betrayal, but also the feelings of disillusionment and loss. When someone the chosen one trusts betrays them, they are forced to confront their own vulnerability. They must make a difficult decision: allow the pain of betrayal to consume them, or use that pain as a lesson for growth. This moment is not just about the person who betrayed them, but also about the chosen one themselves. Betrayal is a mirror, reflecting the deepest parts of human nature, revealing flaws, fears, and insecurities. In this test, the chosen one learns that to move forward they need to be able to forgive, but also to protect their trust more consciously. This test teaches the chosen one of the harshest lessons of the journey. Trust must be earned, and at times, it must be preserved with more discernment. They learn that even those they consider close may have hidden motives or simply not understand the magnitude of their mission. By facing this pain, the chosen one sees the need for emotional healing. The pain of betrayal is a deep wound that cannot be ignored, but at the same time, it is an opportunity for learning. They realize that they cannot allow the experience to make them cynical or closed off to the world. On the contrary, betrayal teaches them to value genuine, true relationships even more. They learn to trust, but in a more mature and cautious way, recognizing that loyalty and trust must be earned. Betrayal is not just a pain to be overcome, but a life lesson. It teaches the chosen one that despite the world being full of distrust, it is still possible to find true allies, and by learning to protect their trust, they become more capable of discerning and better prepared to deal with the next tests of their journey. 7. The test of purpose. After going through a series of challenging tests, the chosen one begins to question the reason for their journey. They have already faced deep fears, made personal sacrifices, spent long periods of solitude, and even suffered the pain of betrayal. Now they find themselves facing a crisis of identity, a moment of doubt about whether what they are seeking truly justifies everything they have left behind. They begin to reflect on the true motivation behind their mission, questioning whether sacrificing their own peace and happiness is truly justified. This test is a critical point in the chosen one's journey, as it requires them to reconnect with their original purpose. They find themselves confronted with a series of questions. Am I on the right path? What motivated me to start this journey? What really matters? At this moment, the chosen one finds themselves for the first time without clear answers. They begin to realize that their mission is not just about their personal achievements or what they gain from it, but about something much greater than themselves. They understand that the sacrifices they have made are not in vain. They are part of a greater whole that involves not only their own life, but the lives of others as well. The test of purpose forces the chosen one into deep introspection. They question their own humanity, their flaws, their mistakes. This is the moment when they confront their vulnerability, everything they fear facing within themselves. Doubts begin to arise, but there is also an opportunity for them to reaffirm their faith. They realize that it is not the doubt itself that defines them, but their ability to continue believing in what they started, even when clarity is not immediately within reach. This test is a true re-evaluation of the mission. When the chosen one rediscovers their purpose, they become stronger. They not only reinforce their determination, but also begin to understand that their mission goes beyond their own abilities and limitations. They realize that their journey is not a linear path of rewards and ease, but rather a process of constant growth, where they transform with each step taken. By finding clarity about their purpose, the chosen one becomes more aware of the greatness that awaits them, understanding that although the path has been arduous, it is an essential link in something much greater than themselves. 8. The encounter with the shadow. The chosen one's journey is never only about external challenges, but also about internal confrontations. At some point, they are challenged to face their shadow, the darkest and most complex part of themselves. This is a profound psychological and spiritual test, where the chosen one must confront their weaknesses, fears, and internal limitations. The shadow represents everything they fear facing: feelings of insecurity, past mistakes, the flaws they try to hide from themselves and others. The encounter with the shadow is a transformative experience. They can no longer hide from the part of themselves they wish to avoid. To move forward, the chosen one needs to embrace everything they avoid, no matter how difficult it may be. It is not about defeating their shadow, but integrating it, learning to live with the imperfections it reveals. The chosen one begins to understand that the shadow is not an enemy, but a fundamental part of who they are. By accepting it, they can transcend their limitations, because it is in the recognition of these weaknesses that they find the path to true strength. This moment requires great humility. The chosen one is not perfect and never will be. When they face their shadow, they allow themselves to be vulnerable and human. They learn that the search for perfection is not the true objective of their journey. In fact, it is the recognition of their imperfections that allows them to move forward. They realize that the journey is not about being invulnerable or flawless, but about accepting their entirety, including the aspects they fear the most. This test is fundamental for personal growth. When the chosen one faces their shadow, they become more balanced. They realize that by dealing with their flaws in a constructive way, they become stronger and more capable of handling the challenges that will come. They begin to see that the shadow, though painful and uncomfortable, is a source of learning. Confronting it allows them to know themselves better, understand their deepest motivations, and prepare for what the future holds. 9. The realization and acceptance of destiny. After going through so many trials and challenges, the chosen one finally reaches the moment of realization. They have achieved the mission that seemed impossible at the beginning, but upon reaching it, they realize that this does not mean their journey is over. In fact, the fulfillment of their mission brings with it a new set of responsibilities, something they had not anticipated. They now find themselves facing an even greater destiny and must fully accept the weight of their actions and the impact they will have not only on their life, but on the lives of those around them. The realization is not an isolated personal achievement. By fulfilling their mission, the chosen one understands that their journey was only part of something much greater. The silent sacrifice, the nights of solitude, the moments of doubt, and the fears faced were not in vain. They were essential for them to become capable of dealing with the grandiosity of the mission they have now completed. They realized that the challenges they went through were necessary for them to grow and prepare for the role they will play in the world. This moment is also one of deep reflection. The chosen one looks back and sees how much they have grown along the way. The person they were at the beginning of the journey no longer exists. They have become someone stronger, wiser, and more aware of their own humanity. They have learned to deal with their weaknesses, trust their inner strength, and accept their true nature. The journey, although difficult, was essential for their transformation. By accepting their destiny, the chosen one becomes more aware of their own greatness. They understand that true victory is not only in the mission itself, but in the process of self-awareness and growth they lived to achieve it. The silent pain and sacrifices they faced were crucial to making them stronger and more prepared for what is to come. By embracing their destiny, the chosen one becomes the person they were always meant to be, someone capable of facing any challenge with courage, wisdom, and humility, knowing that their mission transcends themselves. The journey of the chosen one is marked by challenges that, at first glance, may seem insurmountable. However, each test, each sacrifice, and each moment of doubt contribute to the formation of a stronger and more aware person of their mission. The chosen one is not an invulnerable figure, but someone who, despite all adversities, finds strength and purpose in the midst of chaos. The silent pain they carry is part of their journey and makes them more human. Throughout this path, the chosen one learns that the value of their mission lies not only in the end, but in the entire process that transforms them. Each sacrifice, Each fear overcome, each defeat becomes an essential step in their preparation. The journey is not easy, but it is precisely this difficulty that makes them capable of achieving great feats. The silent sacrifice of the chosen one is something that few see, but it is fundamental to their evolution. It is through this invisible suffering that they find their true strength and purpose. And by accomplishing their mission, they not only change the world around them, but also change themselves. Comment on which of these tests you have already passed.